What is an old chisel still good for? I was given a set of chisels that were likely made in the GDR at least 70 years ago. Some of them are in really bad shape, but I will see if I can bring them back to life. I use water stones of 250, 1000 and 3000 grit. They need to get soaked in water for about 10 minutes before you begin. As you can only create a straight blade on a straight surface, you need to true the stone. This can be done with sanding paper on a flat surface, but I use a dedicated stone. Make sure there are no low spots left. You can make out high spots already from the leftovers on a clean stone. Goal is an absolutely even surface. My chisels have been treated pretty badly, and the first job will be to get the backside flat. This is a very time-consuming job. Fortunately, it has to be only done once in the tool's lifetime. I started on 250 grit. If the stone dries out, simply add some drops of water. Make sure not to wash away the dirt, as this is what actually sharpens the tool. I still had a big low spot at the center, but that's fine as long as you are level at tip and sides. If you can see what you grinded, use a Sharpie to mark the area. The backside is flat when all lines are gone. You can use a wet towel or anti-slip mat for standard grinding. My experience with badly damaged tools is that you grind so much that the stone will start slipping anyway. That's why I prefer a dedicated holder. In the following I use the 1000 grit stone. You can already see how the surface gets shinier. My next step was to try getting rid of the rust with steel wool. I ended up using a Dremel tool with a soft metal brush instead. Afterwards I switched to my 3000 grit stone. This created a nice clean grind. For the other side of the blade I used a method that Paul Sellers proposes. Back on my 250 grit stone I created a bevel instead of a flat grind. I started to put the blade on the stone at about 30 degrees. Then I pushed it away from me and the natural motion lifts the tip up to about 20 degrees. You can already see how the initial hollow grind started to get closed. I repeated this procedure on 1000 and 3000 grit stones. The backside gets only a short stroke again to break the burr. The result was already very pleasing, but Paul even polishes his blades. So I took a board with some piece of leather glued to the top. I rubbed some polishing material onto it and only pulled the beveled side now. The backside also got its polish. As I could restore the blade, it was now time to take care of the handle. Initially I planned to replace it, but later decided to keep it for its history, although it had a crack. I am not a fan of thick paint coats. So I took it off with 80 grit sandpaper and worked my way over 120 and 240 grit to 400 grit. To be able to sand everything, I needed to get the ring of the top. I washed off the sanding dust with a soaking wet cloth. After letting it dry for an hour, I gave the handle a treatment with kettle boiled linseed oil. Make sure to put used cloth into water, as they may self-ignite otherwise. I applied some ballistol oil to prevent rusting. To test if I created a sharp edge, I took a scrap piece of pine and cut through it as if it was sponge. If you want to know which kind of project can be done with such a sharp chisel, have a look at Shabby DIY's video. You will find even more cool content on that channel. One of the other chisels gives you a good comparison for the result. Tell me which family tool you want to repair. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button to let us know you want more of this content. Don't forget to also have a look at our other videos. Get cubed and subscribe to stay informed about the latest news and uploads, or follow us on your favorite social media and share the video with your friends. Thank you for any support, it really helps us to improve our content.